episode 2 of Mark Sharp's Multifamily Mixtape. Last episode, we talked about the why or how I got in the industry, why I stay in the industry, and what I would like to try to accomplish with this podcast. And one of those things is training. It's investing in your employees' futures with your company by allowing them training, allowing them education to hone their skills, make them better. So I want to start off by telling you a story and how the outcome of this story shaped the next 3 years, 4 years of my career, really, and how it's going to shape the next 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, however long I can stay in our industry. But the story goes a little something like this. 2021, I was awarded an opportunity to attend National Apartment Association Conference Apartmentalize. I had never been to an Apartmentalize conference before, but I had heard all about them. So I had no idea what to expect other than the things that I had heard about the conference. And all you ever really hear about these conferences is party, 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 some networking, and a massive trade show. No one ever told me that there were education sessions. You know, it was always, oh, you got to go to this party. Oh, you got to go do this. Oh, you got to go by this booth at this time because they're giving away $100,000 or whatever it was. Well, so obviously I wasn't sure what in the world I was getting into by going to Chicago to attend this conference. But I was prepared to party because, that's all I'd heard about. Well, I started going through the education sessions that were offered. And there was one that the title of it was How to Find, Hire, and Maintain Qualified Maintenance Personnel. And that is something our industry struggles with. We struggle with having full staffs. We struggle with getting qualified applicants. We struggle with maintaining your good employees. Our industry is growing so much that your good talent gets pulled and stretched to go to other properties. And so it's very rare that you find a property that is appropriately staffed because we have such growth. It's like by the time you get somebody trained up and they're good at what they do, they're efficient at what they do, they love what they do, you got a new property down the street, and corporate or, they want to grow themselves. And so they get pulled and they get sent off to the new property. And so you start over. You invest in someone else. So staffing has always been an issue. So I wanted to learn, or at least hear what these individuals had to say about our industry and how to find, hire, and keep qualified maintenance. So one of the panelists that was speaking, his name was Mark Cookrow, great guy, amazing speaker, loves maintenance, loves technology, loves tools, and is a very good advocate for the maintenance industry within the multifamily space. I've had the pleasure of hearing him speak multiple times and will continue to seek him out and listen to anything he has to say. Well, in this particular session, he mentioned how the multifamily industry is a service industry. There are a lot of other companies and businesses out there that are in the service industry, but we're talking multifamily specifically. And he talks about one of the greatest companies in the service industry, Ritz-Carlton. He talks about how every employee within the Ritz-Carlton organization receives a minimum of 120 hours of training a year to do what they do. Some employees at Ritz-Carlton receive anywhere from 250 to 310 hours, but let's bring it down. Let's not shoot for the moon quite yet. Let's bring it down to something that's a little bit more manageable and just focus on that 120 hours. So if Ritz-Carlton can spend 120 hours of training its employees a year, they have to provide exceptional service. I have never been lucky enough to go to a Ritz-Carlton. Maybe one of these days I can get there. I would love to experience that. From what I hear of individuals that have gone and have experienced that, it is amazing. So he goes on to say that the average multifamily employee receives 11 hours of training a year. 11. I'm pausing for dramatic effect here. Now, I know the multifamily industry is not the Ritz-Carlton. I get that. But we are still a service industry. Imagine what our multifamily industry could be if we invested more than 11 hours of training a year for our employees. Just think about it. You remember last session I was talking, or last episode, sorry, how I mentioned I was in a conference in a room full of people, 400 people, and a keynote said, how many of you chose the multifamily industry as your career, as your profession? And again, to my knowledge, not one person raised their hand. Do you think maybe that's because we only give people 11 hours of training a year? Do you think that might have something to do with it? I mean, come on. So I was blown away by this statistic that Mark said. I was blown away. And that 5-minute piece within that 45-minute session went on to shape the next 3 years for me. I left that conference irritated, because he was accurate. 11 hours of training. That's crazy. So I left Chicago. In 2021, I happened to be the board president for the Upper State Apartment Association. And I came back, and I remember sitting in the executive director's office, and we were talking about my trip and how I was going to offer a training class to the Upper State Apartment Association in order to sort of give back to our membership for sending me to Apartmentalize. And I said, I would like to do a class on how to find, hire, and maintain qualified maintenance personnel. So I took what I'd learned from the session, and I created an hour and a half long class, I guess. Presentation. There you go. Let's go with presentation. That I then gave to our membership. And what I learned after doing that was that we needed to come up with something. So as an association, being, board president, but also not necessarily board president, but just sitting on the Maintenance Appreciation Committee. I was chairperson at the time. I said, we're going to put on a better maintenance training program for our maintenance teams. I've been maintenance chair or co-chair, or I've been chair or co-chair for the Maintenance Appreciation Committee probably for the last 10, 12 years. And, we kind of got stuck in what are we going to do here? How can we show appreciation for our maintenance teams? And, we did the cookouts. We did hey, let's, send you out to Frankie's Fun Park for an afternoon, and we'll have a motivational speaker, and, we'll do some things. But this whole thing about training really just hit me. And I said, we as an association need to do better with our maintenance teams. So we started putting on more quality maintenance training. And as an association, we now offer close to 35 hours of maintenance-specific training every year. Most of that is free, I will say, due to the Maintenance Appreciation Committee and sponsorships for that committee. We offer close to 35 hours of free quality training a year. Now, that's just through the apartment association. That has nothing to do with the individuals' companies that they work for. Now, the statistic that Mark gave was based on the company that that employee works for. But I know 120 hours of training is very difficult to hit within a specific company. So how can we try to separate that out and get as much training as we possibly can? So I utilized the apartment association because they have such a broad reach. They can reach a lot of management companies, not just one. So we created the Maintenance Trilogy, and over the last several years, it has been an amazing success. We packed out our last training, which was compressors. It was a compressor diagnostic class taught by Anthony Constantino with Hawthorne Residential Partners. And he did an amazing job. He always does. But that class was packed. I think we can seat anywhere from 50 to 60 in that education room, and every seat was full. So check number one, right? Let's check box number one for trying to create a better maintenance training program through our apartment association. Now, I didn't just stop with the apartment association. I created a maintenance training program for my employer at the time. It consisted of taking, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, pool, make-readies, turns, what have you, and separated it out into 3 days a week. It was 3 days a week in class, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in class, and then, or Tuesday, Wednesday were in class, Thursday was out in the field with the individuals doing hands-on training in their jobs. And we took a week on each discipline. So, 1 week was plumbing, and we talked about it all. Whether you were a veteran in the industry and you knew everything, it did not matter. You were going through this training class. We wanted to invest everything we could into the success and training and future for our employees. So plumbing, electrical, HVAC, pool, make-readies, it was roughly 5-ish weeks or so of training. It was, again, a Tuesday, Wednesday in class, a Thursday out in the field. And then we took a week off because, you can't just pull your maintenance guys away from their jobs. Otherwise, work orders will pile up. Make-readies won't get done because they're in class. But the good thing about it, the employer wanted those individuals to take that time specifically for training. So take them off their property, remove them from the stress of their day, and put them in an environment where they could learn, which was great. I love that. And I'd like to say it was very successful. We had two cohorts go through that training program before I left that company for another opportunity, which brought me closer to home, which was important to me. And I would like to say that training program helped further the career. It helped give some training to some individuals who needed it, because we didn't just stop with the people who had all the experience. We put everyone through that training program, whether you've been 10 years in the industry or 10 days in the industry, it didn't matter. But one of the really cool things about that maintenance training program was that it opened the door for a completely different type of applicant. So long gone are the days of being able to put an ad out that says, need, multifamily technician, must be EPA, CPO, OSHA, whatever it is you require. The chances of that person falling in your lap are literally zero. All right. On occasion, you get lucky. On occasion, you have somebody move from out of town and they see an ad, they reply to it, and they say, oh, yeah, I have 12 years experience. I'm EPA, CPO, blah, 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 and you hit the jackpot. You're like, whatever you want to be paid, I will pay you. You tell me what you want to make. Forget my budget. You just tell me what you need, I'll pay it. Doesn't matter, right? Long gone are the days of that happening. So we have to get creative with how we get people into our industry. This maintenance training program did that for us. So we went out and we marketed to local trade schools. We marketed to high schools. Y'all, college is not for everybody. It wasn't for me. And it's okay. It is okay. Remember, this is a great industry. This is a recession-proof industry. This industry can provide a good life for an individual and their family. So we took this training program and we went out. We went out to trade schools. We went out to SC Works programs. We went out to high schools. We went out to wherever we could go to find people who just wanted a job, who just wanted to work. And we took them in with little to no skill, and we taught them plumbing, electrical, HVAC, pool maintenance, and make-readies. And so we started to invest in the training of everyone, not just our current employees, but everyone. And then we decided where we needed them, and then we placed them in a job. We placed them in a position where we thought they could thrive. So between the apartment association 35 hours of maintenance training and the maintenance training program that I created, I'm at 155 hours of training. That's far better than the 11 hours back in 2021 when I was sitting in Chicago listening to that. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. How can we be better at what we do if we don't give people the training necessary in order to get better? Now, I will say I'm not perfect. While I have this maintenance training program, I created it a while ago, I also struggle with the day-to-day of our career, of our job, of our industry. You know, there's always an emergency. There's always too many work orders. There's always too many make-readies to get done, and you can't devote the time to training. That's something I struggle with. I have a great team. I have a team of 11, 12 if you include me. And we're behind. We are very, very behind. But they come to work day in, day out, and fight every day to do the right thing. Because if you don't have time to do it right, when will you have time to do it again? I preach that. They know it. I need to be better at setting specific time aside for their training, for their betterment. It's only going to benefit our company. And it's going to invest training and invest in their future with our company or any company. Like, I mean, we're training the next round of maintenance individuals for our entire industry. Right? I'm not one of those that doesn't want to train people because I don't want them to ever feel like they can't leave, or I don't want to train people and then, make them feel like they can't ever leave me to go somewhere else. Like, I will never fault someone for leaving to want to go and better themselves, better their lives, whatever that is. So I will train. I will not hold anything back. If I know it, you'll know it. If I can learn it, you can learn it. If you can learn it, I can learn it. It works two ways. But I guess this is me saying that I need to be better at making sure I set time aside to invest in my team's futures and in their training so they can be better at what they do. So for all the management companies out there who may be listening, however you find this podcast, whether it was shared to you or whether you subscribe, what are you doing? What are you doing to invest in the training of your employees? I'd like to know. So there will be a poll at the end of this. Please, fill it in. Let me know what you think. Does your company offer a training program? If so, great. What is it that you like about that training program? Please be specific. It's going to take all of us working together to help bridge this gap. I would like for everyone out there to be better than the 11 hours of training a year. No one ever got worse by training too much. All right? Remember that. Invest in yourselves, y'all. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.